Breaking inputs are coming in from the interrogation of Arpita Mukherjee. According to Enforcement Directorate sources, Arpita is now being questioned on the issue regarding where she had acquired the 21 crores from. We're going to show you the visuals of the money that you can see on your screens. We're going to pull out the shots of the notes which were recovered from Arpita Mukherjee, where that money came from. Sources are saying that she is cooperating with the investigation, but sources say that Chatterjee is still not fully cooperating, that Partha Chatterjee is not cooperating. A temporary lockup, meanwhile, has been made for Partha Chatterjee in the conference room. So we're going to show you both the visuals of the cash as well as the black diary, which are going to be very, very critical for the investigation. But Tamal, if I can come back to you, it's going to be very critical whether or not Arpita as well as perhaps Partha Chatterjee can give a clean answer, acceptable answer as to where so much money, bundles of notes, that too in Department of Education of West Bengal's envelopes, could be explained.
Well, yes, Partha Chatterjee has got no answer to that question. At least he hasn't really given out any answer. Possibly had he given some answer, made an admission, all this possibly not would have happened. He would have still gotten arrested, but then admission of a crime possibly would have made things easier for him. He did not cooperate with the investigation. I would like to recall once again as how come Arpita Mukherjee came into the picture. First of all, after Enforcement Directorate took suo motu cognizance of the 4 FIRs which have been registered by the CBI in the alleged SSC scam to understand how the money has been laundered, what has been the role of money and how the corruption happened, they were keeping a close eye on Partha Chatterjee. The Partha Chatterjee would be frequenting certain places. One amongst them was Arpita Mukherjee's house. So who Arpita Mukherjee is, at least the address and the individual were under the scanner, under the knowledge of Enforcement Directorate. But after Enforcement Directorate had raided the house of Partha Chatterjee last Friday, they came across loose documents. Now, like a good friend, a close friend would often scribble the name of another good friend, the same way Arpita Mukherjee's name was scribbled on white paper, but just not that, against those names and a particular date, certain figures were also mentioned without specifying whether the figure is that of a money or something else. That had first caught the attention of Enforcement Directorate. If sources are to be believed, they found pictures of Arpita Mukherjee, a lot of them, at the house of Partha Chatterjee. And that's when they started asking, who is this lady? Seems to be very close to you. What is her say in your life? And why you have so many documents where you have got her name written over it? The third suspect, before they decided that Arpita Mukherjee's house has to be raided, it's when they found deeds of properties named after Arpita Mukherjee. They are not copy of deeds, they're original deeds that ideally belong to an individual, were kept with Partha Chatterjee. And that was the final nail on the coffin when Enforcement Directorate officials realized that Arpita Mukherjee has to be somebody who is very important. Otherwise, why would someone give someone's original deed to another person? Doesn't matter whether the person is Partha Chatterjee or anybody. I will not trust my property documents with anyone else. The fact that Partha Chatterjee kept all those documents, Enforcement Directorate believes that these were documents to keep a track of the properties after which Partha Chatterjee had allegedly invested his money, and money which possibly had come as proceeds from crime. So he wanted to keep a track of all these documents. He wanted to keep a track of all these properties so that Arpita Mukherjee tomorrow doesn't run away with these property documents and sell them off, because after all, they are money that Partha Chatterjee had allegedly managed to amass. So that's where Enforcement Directorate officials realized that Arpita Mukherjee's house has to be raided, and bingo, as they went, they found the cash. So Arpita Mukherjee can cry ignorance, can cry foul play. Everything said and done, the money has been recovered from her house, the money which she has not been able to explain the source from, and thus it's an unaccounted for money. And if it's an unaccounted for money, it is qualifying to be a case of PMLA, and that's exactly what happened. So Partha Chatterjee, when he was questioned about the role of Arpita Mukherjee, when they quizzed him as why you have all the original documents of Arpita Mukherjee, what is the association all about, he did not explain. And it was more or less certain at that point in time that so much of liquid cash is nothing but proceeds from crime, and they are only not focusing on SSC. There could be many other scams. There could be many other briberies which would have come to him. He had happily collected them and given to Arpita Mukherjee to stock them up or keep them safe. But at the moment, it's not safe anymore. The truth is out. The cat is out of the of the house. And at this point in time, for Partha Chatterjee,
the
it's
cat may be out, but even now the sleuths are saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. Meanwhile, as we were discussing, Partha Chatterjee's tenability and his continuation in the cabinet has been questioned even inside the court as well as outside. Listen to what the opposition leaders are saying, demanding him to be sacked before he misuses his office, they allege.
आपने बंगाल में देखा है, एक सिटिंग मिनिस्टर के जानकार के घर से 21 करोड़ रुपए नगद बरामद होता है, पार्थ चटर्जी। और अगर इस प्रकार की गतिविधियां होती है, कोर्ट सख्त टिप्पणी करती है, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज देश से पूछती है कि क्या इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं होना चाहिए।
हेल्थ स्टेबल है, मेडिकल रिपोर्ट जो आया, हम लोग का जो रिपोर्ट है प्राय नियर अबाउट सेम ही है। तो थॉरो एग्जामिनेशन वो लोग हार्ट, किडनी और चेस्ट का थॉरो ब्लड सब थॉरो इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया। वो लोग को भी बोला उसका बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन क्या है वो लोग बोला अभी हॉस्पिटल एडमिशन का जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन क्लोज मॉनिटरिंग ट्रीटमेंट ये सब का जरूरत है।
हाई कोर्ट का ऑर्डर में हम लोग गए थे, उधर में 3 बजे एम्स भुवनेश्वर वाला रिपोर्ट दिया हम लोगों को, और उसके बाद में रात में जो लोअर कोर्ट में ऑर्डर हुआ, और आज मॉर्निंग फ्लाइट में हम लोग आ गए अलग से, और कुछ बिलोंगिंग्स और कुछ मेडिसिन हम लोग का पास था वो हम लोग हैंडओवर कर दिया। अभी जैसे जैसे इंटरोगेशन चलेगा तो ईडी लोग करेगा। नहीं, मेडिकल जो इधर में हुआ था और लास्ट में एम्स का जो है, ठीक है, वो सब ईडी लोग का पास है।